Imagine waking up every single morning for 27 years, knowing you are innocent, knowing that somewhere outside those walls, the real criminal is walking free, breathing fresh air, living a normal life, while you rot in a cage for something you never did. Most people would break within months, some within weeks. But this man didn't break. And what kept him alive? Inside that darkness is something that will genuinely disturb you. Not because it's evil, but because it's so deeply, painfully human. Stay with me, because this story doesn't end where you think it does.
It's 1983, a small quiet town in the American Midwest. The kind of town where everybody knows everybody, where doors are left unlocked and children play outside until dark. His name is Marcus, 24 years old, works at a local factory. Quiet man, keeps to himself, has a mother who loves him and a younger sister who looks up to him every single day. Then one night, everything changes. A young woman is found murdered 3 blocks from Marcus's apartment. The town is terrified. The police are under enormous pressure to find someone, anyone. And Marcus, the quiet man who keeps to himself, becomes their answer. The evidence against him was thin, dangerously thin. One witness who claimed they saw someone matching his description near the scene. A defense lawyer who was underpaid and overwhelmed. And a jury that was scared and wanted justice fast. In 1984, Marcus is convicted of first-degree murder, sentenced to life in prison. He is 25 years old, and he is completely innocent. The first year inside nearly destroyed him. He was placed in a maximum security facility, surrounded by men who had actually committed violent crimes. Men who could smell weakness. And a wrongly convicted man, a man in psychological freefall, smells very weak indeed. He was attacked in his first month, isolated for his own protection, spent 23 hours a day alone, in a cell barely large enough to take 3 steps forward and 3 steps back. His appeals were rejected, one after another. His mother spent every dollar she had trying to hire better lawyers. Nothing worked. By year 3, Marcus stopped eating properly, stopped sleeping, started hearing his own thoughts like they belonged to someone else. Psychologists who studied his case later said he was showing severe signs of dissociation. His mind was literally trying to escape a reality it could not accept. He was losing himself. And then, something happened. Something small. So small that most people would have ignored it completely. A cockroach crawled into his cell. Now, before you think this is going somewhere strange, stay with me. Marcus watched that cockroach for 2 hours, moving across the floor, surviving, existing, completely, unbothered by the concrete walls surrounding it. And something shifted in his mind that night. He made a decision, a quiet, private, almost invisible decision. He decided that he would survive this, not for the justice system, not even for freedom, but simply because he refused to let an innocent man die inside these walls. He started a routine the very next morning. Wake up at 5 a.m., exercise for 1 hour using only his body weight, read whatever books the prison library would allow, write in a journal every single night, documenting every thought, every dream, every memory of his life before prison. He became obsessed with learning. He taught himself law, reading every legal textbook he could access. He wrote letters, hundreds of letters, to lawyers, to journalists, to anyone who would listen. But here is the psychological part that researchers found most fascinating. Marcus created what he called his parallel life. Every night before sleeping, he would close his eyes and mentally live an entire day of the life he should have been living outside. He would imagine waking up in his own apartment, making coffee, calling his sister, going to work, coming home. He lived 2 lives simultaneously, one inside the prison, one inside his mind. Psychologists later described this as an extraordinary example of the human brain's ability to construct alternative realities. As a survival mechanism, his mind built him an escape route, not through the walls, but through his own consciousness. 27 years. He did this every single night for 27 years. In 2011, a small nonprofit organization specializing in wrongful convictions agreed to review Marcus's case. They found something the original investigators had buried: physical evidence from the crime scene that had never been properly tested, evidence that had been sitting in a storage box for nearly 3 decades. They tested it using modern DNA technology that didn't exist in 1984. The DNA did not match Marcus. Not even close. The real perpetrator was identified, a man who had gone on to commit 2 more crimes after. Marcus was locked away, a man who had lived freely for 27 years while Marcus built imaginary mornings in a prison cell. But here is the twist that nobody talks about. When Marcus was told he was going to be released, that his conviction was being overturned, he didn't cry. He didn't scream. He didn't collapse. He sat very quietly for a long moment. And then he said 7 words that the lawyer in that room never forgot. He said, "I never stopped living my life." The parallel world he had built inside his mind, it had kept him so psychologically intact, so mentally alive, that freedom almost felt like simply moving from one room to another. Marcus walked out of prison in 2011 at the age of 52. He had lost 27 years. His mother had passed away 6 years earlier, never seeing her son declared innocent. His sister was now middle-aged with children of her own. The state offered him compensation, a sum of money that could never, not even close, replace what was taken from him. But Marcus did something unexpected with his freedom. He became an advocate. He started speaking at universities, at legal conferences, at community centers. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with a calm, quiet authority that made every room fall completely silent. He told people about the cockroach, about the parallel life, about the 5 a.m. routines, about the hundreds of letters. He told people that the human mind, when pushed to its absolute limit, will find a way to survive that no prison wall can stop. Today, Marcus runs a foundation supporting wrongfully convicted individuals. He has helped overturn 11 other wrongful convictions. He is 65 years old, and by every psychological measure, he is one of the mentally strongest human beings ever studied. 27 years, innocent, and yet unbroken. What Marcus's story teaches us is something deeply uncomfortable about the human condition. That's suffering, even unjust, undeserved. Catastrophic suffering does not have to be the end of a person. The mind will build doors where there are only walls, if you let it. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you want more stories like this, stories of real people pushed to the absolute edge of human experience, then you are in the right place. I'll see you in the next one.